So my plan for this next part is that I would like to use, set up a little Blender project that'll make something like this. So this I've rendered out from Clo, and this is my little outfit, the puffy shirt outfit that I've made, and I've literally just combined that in a video editor. But this was an image sequence that has been rendered out from Clo with two cameras, so one showing the whole person and one just showing the crop of the top. And this is fairly easy to make this happen in Blender, and we've been successfully bringing things into Blender, and I think I might just do that one more time and just set up this as a little turntable kind of rig, if you will, with two light sources, just 2 point lights, one at the back, one at the front, one camera that points like that, and then I'll put the imported garment into an empty, and the empty is going to be rotated. And once I've done that, I can then use that as a base scene if I have other items of clothing that I've made that I'd like to turn into a little turntable animation like that. I can then go and use that scene. I can even give that scene away to share on my Ko-fi store. How about it? Let's do it. All right. Thank you so much for banning the ever so annoying spam bot there. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. I didn't even see him. All I see is Chris deleted that message. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. Alrighty, so we're going to build something like that. And that shouldn't take too long. He says, very funny. No, let's try. Let's try. Blender 2.91 will help us out there. Chris only comes out when needed. That is very, very cool. Let me see if I think I have this as the project actually. Puffy shirt blend. I think that is the item of clothing. Let me just have a look at that. And see if it, are you coming? Are you coming? Do you need to double click? No. Mustn't touch it. Mustn't touch it. It's all good. Ah, there we go. So I've set this up. Have I set this up? Oh yeah, I've rotated this. Oh, I've already done it. Oh man, I've already done it. That's exciting. We don't have to do it anymore. I didn't know. I totally forgot about it. Hey, that's great. That second part was extremely fast. Awesome. Seriously, didn't know about this. How exciting. Do I like the turntables that rotate the character or that rotate around the character? Well, to be honest, to the viewer, it doesn't make a difference. If you don't have a HDRI, if you have a plain background, the viewer is never going to find out. If you have a HDRI and you see basically blurring changing in the background, then yes, it makes a difference, but the viewer can't really tell what you're turning there, if you're flying the camera around the object or if you're just turning the object. It's sometimes I do prefer the character turning, only because it means the lights are static, so none of your garment will be, or none of the thing that you're trying to show will be in the shadows. Because if you had something that looks good from here, but say the back is in the shadow, the moment the camera goes around there, you can't really see what's there. So you really want to illuminate all parts of the thing that you're showing. So in that respect, I do actually prefer that the character turns. Thank you, Christina. That would be nice, yes, because once I tend to find a version that I'm happy with, I just tend to stick with it until I have to upgrade it due to other technical reasons or new features that I like. But I'm one of those guys, a bit like Rod. I'm really happy to run older software on older hardware. Yes, but if you can let me know, that'd be great. So the way I've made this here really is, there's actually something wrong with the outfit that I didn't know at that point. So we're going to go through that. This here is my empty. Is it? No, that's called the outfit. Yes, actually, that is an empty that I've called outfit. So it's just something that will take the outfit itself. And then that is the thing that gets 2 keyframes, namely one on the first frame here and one on the last. And that is all I'm doing, really. I'm going to build this from scratch so that we can all see how this works. I had no idea this was already done here. That's completely new to me. But yeah, we'll build this from scratch. How funny is that? Yes, and then I added whatever I want into the empty, and the empty is the one that has these two keyframes. And then the only other thing that is important here is that the interpolation is set to linear rather than a curve, because otherwise it starts slow, speeds up, and then slows down again, and you want this to be continuous. There we go. Let's just make one from scratch, shall we? We've got this one to fall back on. I like that. I like that. I had no idea. Surprised myself there. So perhaps the cube here can be our model, if we will. Let's do that. Let's go and make the cube the model, and then we'll bring in a real model and adjust the camera accordingly a little bit later. Because the good thing about doing it this way is that the turning action will always stay the same, and whatever you want to do with the camera is independent of the animation. Joe, hello. Very nice. Very nice to see you. You've been down a lot lately, Joe, but then you've been going through a lot, so I do totally appreciate that. Very good to see you, no matter what mood you're in. So I'm going to just use my default cube. He doesn't get a lot of action, so he's going to be the guy we're going to go and frame up. So with N, I'll go and bring my little panel up here. I'm going to use the default camera as my camera here. 0 on the numpad will bring that up. And I will leave the aspect ratio as 16:9 for now. That's then, you can just do with it whatever you like. And I'm going to go and frame him up. Kind of from the side. Whoops. Do that. Kind of frame him up. From somewhere like this maybe. There, let's say this is now him framed up. It doesn't really matter because you can change the camera as you see fit. I'm gonna settle for, I'm gonna think in 30 frames a second, and I'm thinking that my turntable animation is gonna be about 6 seconds long. So 30 times 6 is 180. So that'll be the duration of my animation, 180 frames. And I'm gonna park my playhead on the first frame here, technically frame 0 here. Oh, actually, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go and go out of camera view so I can go and move around as I see fit. I'm going to go and add an empty, Shift A, and go create an empty. And it doesn't matter really which one you prefer. You can use a cube, a sphere, whatever. Arrow is always nice. I'm going to might just use an arrow. Do I use an arrow? Yeah, I won't use an arrow. Forget about the arrow. Let's go and do something like I don't know, single arrow, arrows, plane axis. Let's do plane axis. And that's now called an empty. And the empty, I'll just call that the rotator, just so that we know what it is. It's the thing that will physically rotate. And the cube is going to be the guy that will be parented to this thing. And I think that happens with Control P. Is that correct? Control P parents the object to something else. Set parent to, I forgot actually how to do that. I think I have to go and select both of these. And the last thing that is selected is the thing you get parented to, I think. And Control P only works when you're hovering in the viewport, I think. Let's just try this out. Control P object. And that has indeed done that. So the cube is now under rotator. So yes, that's a bit of a Blender weirdness there. I've got not so much weirdness. You just have to know how this works. So with nothing selected, select the thing you want to parent first, then hold Control and select the thing you want to parent it to, so that it is the second thing that is selected. Usually has a little different color. Then you hover over the viewport, Control P, and then you select object. And that does that. It parents the whatever you've selected first to whatever you've selected second. And that means now with the rotator we can go set up our animation. So on the first keyframe here, we want to have this thing look exactly like it does right now. So we go under these under the object properties here. Hover over that, I'm already there, transform and rotation. And I'm going to hover in rotation and hit the letter I. And that'll set a keyframe there, which is great for the thing that is selected in the scene, which must be the rotator. So that's currently selected that's not now keyframed at that position. And now I can go and move my playhead to the last frame of the animation, which is frame 180. And at that point, I'm going to go and work out what needs to be rotated. So it's the Z that I want to rotate. If I go left click and drag, I can see that that is in fact happening. And to do a full rotation, it's going to be 360, like that. And that's now orange. That means the green values haven't changed from the last keyframe, but this one has. And in order to lock this in, I have to press the I key again. And that'll now make that, I don't know, a slightly different shade of orange. Kind of, you could call it yellowish, I guess. So there we go. It means now that both my keyframes will be interpolated. And my cube rotates, not actually the cube, but the rotator rotates. That's why that happens. And that's essentially our thing set up already. So with 0, we can go and look at our camera, press space, and we can go and look at our cube rotating. Right, I didn't know that, Emerga. Thank you for letting me know. Interesting. Well, camera rotation is going to be a little more difficult because it means you'd have to set up a motion path around the object, I guess, right? But it's doable. It's perfectly possible. I just think this is a really easy and quick way to do it. I might do that next time, actually, to set up a thing that rotates the camera around a stationary object. Also a good idea. And there are definitely applications for it, so I totally agree with that. Jeremy, you're leaving. What's happening? I missed you leaving. What a shame. But no worries. If the buffering is so terrible in Singapore, then you know. It's been lovely having you, buddy. Say hello to Kenji for me. So the only thing we need to now fix is the interpolation between the two things. And that is just with the keyframes, really. That is right-click a keyframe and set the interpolation mode to linear. And you can select multiple keyframes as you do that. I only have 2, so it's not really that big an issue. Interpolation mode to linear. And that should now, hopefully, give us a little linear motion here without there being the speed up and the slow down. You want this to be continuous because then people can watch it on repeat, and it looks like that is exactly what it's doing now. Cool. Animation set up, ready to rock.